Welcome! So I woke up not too long ago, maybe like 15 minutes ago, and of course I immediately thought of the math homework that I still have to do. But then a thought crossed my mind. I could make a popsicle stick house instead of doing that math homework. You know, I think that's the better way to go here. And you can tell I've already made a house before. This was probably years ago because I haven't touched this box. We've had this box in my house. It's like, this box is a relic. This box came with the house, okay? And we've never used it, so I used it once, but I decided to use it once again. I think I was making a gingerbread house when I did this. I made the 4 walls, but then I got tired. But I had nice supports. Oh, and I used hot glue. This is gonna be probably a downgrade from that one. And I'm using today's newspaper, so hopefully no one wanted to read that. So I've been learning Korean lately to try to, you know, catch up with my BTS boys. I really want to know, like, at least one of their songs, like, fully. Like, I want to know all the lyrics and be able to sing all the lyrics to one of their songs. And if you don't know, BTS is a K-pop, like, boy band. And they're like, the majority of their songs are in Korean. So that's why I'm learning it. And I know, okay, so ready? 저는 미국 사람입니다. I just said I'm American. Alright, I hope I said I'm American. If I didn't, I don't know what I've been learning. Alright, I think the mistake I made with this last house was I made way too many supports. Like, if you can see, I have a bunch going up in, like, just vertical, but then on the back I have on every surface some horizontal. I don't think I need that many. I think I could do, like, I think I'd get away with, like, 2, maybe even 3. Oh, and I don't know, this is probably gonna come out really bad, but I want a porch on my house, my popsicle stick house. Also, I don't know how much I trust this glue, because it's definitely older than me, and it's gel glue. Like, I've never heard of that before, so I don't know, hopefully this is okay. And I've also been learning negatives, so like, let's see. 저는 한국 사람이 아닙니다. I just said, I'm not Korean. Chill out, glue. Maybe I need to get better glue. I'll be right back. I found regular Elmer's glue. So, have you guys watched Shane Dawson's new video? I just watched it last night, and it was interesting. And I mean, the video is like the Sociopath. I don't know the difference between Psychopath and Sociopath, but the Sociopath series that Shane Dawson's doing, and he's only released 2 parts as of like right now, and his most recent one was the one where he interviews that therapist lady, and she gives him the exact definition of like a sociopath, and he's like, damn, that sounds like a lot of people, which I didn't realize, like, how crazy, like, 1 in 25, like, is that statistic real? Who came up with that statistic, first of all? Where do statistics come from? How do they even know? After watching that video, I have confirmed to myself that I 100% know at least one sociopath. And I know exactly who it is in my life right now. At least one, you know? Probably more. But it's crazy. I wonder if there's instances with sociopaths where, like, they themselves don't know that they exhibit those traits. Like, is there a sociopath who's, like, delusional enough to believe that they actually have those emotions that they're mimicking? You know? Like, do some people not recognize that they're sociopaths? I'd be interested to learn more about that. And with Jake Paul, I feel like towards the end of the video, towards the end of Shane's video, they were discussing how Logan Paul could be the sociopath in this situation, which, honestly, I could believe that. He's likable, he exhibits some traits, and of course, we don't know these people in real life. There's, like, obviously no way to actually know, and I'm not a therapist, but if Jake has had to compete with a sociopath his whole life, there's no winning, and that must feel really bad as well. So let's talk about Jake a little bit. I feel like, one, like, yeah, they were on the nose with he's been trying to compete with Logan his whole life. And I think that's true. And he's also been on camera and on YouTube for a lot of his developmental life. And, like, it's hard to... There's no way for him to make mistakes without being ridiculed for it. And it's been that way for a long time for him. So he either goes full out on stuff and pretends as if nothing is a mistake so that he doesn't get the ridicule for it, or, like, he owns up. He doesn't own up. He just pretends like, oh, that's just me, I'm just crazy, like, this wasn't a mistake, I did this on purpose. But I feel like that's a very bad thing to, like, grow up with. Like, I feel like kids on YouTube, like, honestly, there maybe should be an age limit on YouTube. Potentially. Don't hate me for that. But my logic on that is that if you're constantly on YouTube and constantly putting yourself out to the world and you have, like, subscribers, like a lot of them, that can't be healthy for you at all. All you think of growing up would be your self-image. And I mean, people already do that, but it would be to a way greater degree than probably me or you could either imagine, like, ever. Unless you're a kid YouTuber that has a lot of subscribers. And so you're always thinking about how other people are thinking of you. And that sucks. I feel like Jake Paul probably is a normal kid, honestly. I don't know why I keep calling him a kid. He's older than me. He's older than me by like a year, I think. But he is probably a normal kid. I believe that. I think what happened was, so Shane showed the videos of Jake before being normal, like before his fame and before his like uprise, you know, being normal, like being like a person that actually cares about other people, like trying to do stuff to be on his subscribers' side, like just trying to be a nice person. And we, like, if he's shown us that once, I don't think that was the fake personality in this scenario, you know. I think what he's showing us now is, for sure. And, like, so what I think happened was he started the whole Team 10 thing. Again, I don't know all of Jake Paul's, like, history, but he started the Team 10 thing. And then his personality that's, like, crazy and that stuff right now, that used to be his personality that was, like, just for camera. And, like, he would only ever try to be, like, oh, crazy, like, one-up everything anyone does, like, just for the camera. But then he starts this Team 10 house, and everyone's got cameras all the time, potentially by his, like, ruling. like Tessa Brooks was saying, like, you need to have, if you're not up by 10 and filming, then, like, you get fined or something. So there's cameras on all the time, and Jake doesn't have a chance to be, like, that kind person anymore. He's got to be on all the time, which must be so tiring. So tiring. I can't even imagine that. Like, I would consider myself an extroverted person, but if I'm around people for too long, I'm just like, oh, I can't, like, I don't feel like talking anymore, you know? So I can't even barely imagine putting on that kind of front for days, weeks, months on end, like, with no breaks. That's crazy. And I do think he's probably lost himself a little bit in this whole thing. Like, sure, maybe he did used to be normal. I'm sure some of that is still within him, but maybe he thinks that this is all he can do now. Like, trying to stay relevant is a struggle of many YouTubers on YouTube. And his audience, I was thinking about this the other day too, his audience is primarily composed of kids, like younger kids, maybe even like teenagers, and they want to see him do crazy stuff. They also like him for him, like for him, you know, the persona he puts on. They like that a lot. They like how crazy he is. They like how impulsive he is. So he tries to keep up with them in this scenario. It's really his fans that he's trying to please by being this crazy. And again, not healthy, I don't think. But Shane was talking about how this is potentially a lose-lose for Jake Paul. If he apologizes, changes his ways, then his fan base will hate him. If he doesn't change his ways, doesn't apologize, then the rest of the world will hate him. That's what Shane was saying. But I think it doesn't necessarily have to be like that. I think if he does apologize, does change his ways, then he'll be more likable. Sure, maybe some of his audience will turn on him, whatever that really means. They'll still watch his videos if it has enough clickbait. But I think that could potentially attract a new audience for him. Maybe some older people, some like 20-year-olds, like what's in his age range. That in itself would allow him to be himself again. And people would like him for like his actual self. Like, you know, like, I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but if his videos were him like just chilled out, I think a lot more people would watch. I think his audience right now really likes to see action-packed, fun stuff. But like, I'm cool with just watching like a 40-minute video about like people talking to the camera. Like, I like that. I'm into that. And a lot of people are into that. And I think that he thinks that he can't pull that off. Like, that no one, like, none of his subscribers would like if he did that. But I think, one, he'll get more subscribers if people can forgive him for the other stuff. That's a big factor in it, too. But he might get more subscribers, and they might like the more chilled out version of him. And in return, he can be less stressed out, less like, dude, I keep getting glue all over myself. He can be less stressed out. Oh my god. He can be less stressed out and more of himself, which has gotta feel good, you know? Like, being so fake all the time, that must just feel so bad. Like, you don't even know who you are anymore. Am I Jake Paul, or am I what the fans want Jake Paul to be? Is, I'm sure, a constant dilemma for him. And Logan Paul, too. So, I don't really watch these people that much. But Logan Paul, I didn't realize, I completely forgot about the whole thing with, he did one prank on his fans when he was standing at the window, like, of his house, and he was waving to them, and then all of a sudden there were, like, blood bags, like, burst onto the window, and he fell to the floor, and it was like a, I got shot prank, but it was like, there was, like, young kids there, like, super young kids that watched that happen, and they didn't know what was going on, but they knew that it was really bad, whatever it was. That's, like, traumatizing stuff. Like, I don't know. And then whenever they make apologies, they say, oh, I didn't know what I was doing. Like, you knew exactly what you were doing. You were using the approach of do now, ask for forgiveness later. Dude, no one ever knocks on my door, and that was really scary. Oh, it was just my mom's birthday. I gotta show you the card I got her. It says, the 70s called. It lights up. How cool is that? I love it. And it says, the 70s called. They want you to have a funky birthday. And she loved it, of course. My mom has this one, like, distinct dance that she does every time she hears, like music that's, like, poppy and, like, fun, you know? And as soon as she pressed the button, she went, that's her dance. I love it so much. Boogie fever. Seriously, this is such a huge box of popsticks. Popsticks? Popsticks. Is that the word? Popsticks. Popsicle sticks. What's a pop stick? This is such a huge box of popsicle sticks. It's 1,000 count. When would I ever use this? I probably used this for like one school project, and then once when I tried to make this gingerbread house, and then that was it. What was I talking about? Logan Paul. Oh, the window prank. That's so traumatizing, dude. And so I was talking about how he uses the approach, and so does Jake Paul, and so do a lot of people. He uses the approach of do now, ask for forgiveness later. You know, like, oh, I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I didn't know how badly this would affect people. Like, I'm so sorry. It's like, you planned this out. You edited this video. You posted this video. That's a lot of wait time for you to think about what the heck you just did. But, oh no, I didn't know what I was doing. Like, okay, Mr. How old is he? Like 20 something? Like, okay. But again, it all is the struggle for relevance. He just wants to be the new shocking thing that ends up on the news, because any publicity is good publicity, honestly. Which is like he'll still get subscribers no matter how much me or you hate him, which is just so crazy to me. It's like, what the heck? And it's all kids. They think it's cool, which is like, what role models are we using right now? And I feel like I sound like an old person, but I also feel like I make sense, so I don't really care. Oh, I can make a log cabin. Should I make a log cabin or a house? I mean, they're both houses, but one is distinctly a log cabin. So I have work at 4:30. I don't feel like going. I don't feel like working. Like, honestly, I'm 20, and I still don't really know what I'm, like, doing. And, like, I thought by this time I'd, like, I don't know, I thought I'd know what I'm doing by 20. But as I get older, I'm realizing adults don't really know what they're doing either. And that's a scary thought, but also a comforting thought. Like, I'm never gonna feel like an old person, and I already know that. And my Uncle Mush, his name is Merwin. No. Yeah, his name was Merwin, but people always called him Merlin, so he said, just call me Mush. So my Uncle Mush, he always said he feels like he's 20. Like, he's always felt like he's 20, even when he was, like, 90. And I totally, like, I get that now. And I'm only 20. Like, I don't truly get that, but I understand the basic principles of what he means now. And I'm sure some 20-year-olds know what they're doing, but I'm sure a lot of us don't, too. And if you're a 20-year-old and you don't know what you're doing and you're watching this, it's gonna be okay. We'll figure it out, you know. Even if we, like, just take some shots in the dark while we're figuring out life, that's okay. We don't need to know what we're doing. On this rock in the middle of nowhere, we don't need to know. We don't need to know anything. Really.